I do apologize for the background. I'm on the move. As you heard, we have just expanded in Eastern Europe. I'm a GP at VU Venture Partners Eastern Europe and a partner at Venture Partners with headquarters of San Francisco. And having made that short introduction, I would really want to get back to the issue, which is the pitch. I understand that many founders have problems or are afraid or don't know what they have to do when it comes to the pitch. And I know that there seems to be a plethora of pitch templates and specialized paid services that promise all of you to create the pitch that's going to land you the deal. Now, judging by what I and many of my colleagues see every day, I don't believe that these services are doing a great job. In order to really help you, I'm simply going to share with you what we, as your future investors, look for in our first meetings with founders or when we look at your pitch decks. I believe that this is going to be the fastest and the simplest way to get you the information that you need to present your ideas and company successfully. I have asked the organizers to make available a copy of our what we call first contact evaluation sheet and give you a few details on the most important points. I will start with what is considered point two on the sheet, which is problem or need. One of the first questions we ask ourselves as VCs when once we know the name of your company and generally the product that you're presenting is, why should we care? What does your product do? Are you really solving a problem or a need that is out there and it's really pressing? And we are always careful when we're listening to understand if you're doing that or if, having come up with an idea or a product, you are now trying to create the market, the need for it. We want to hear your one line value prop to your customer. What are you doing for them? Are you creating new revenue? Are you reducing cost, time, etc.? What is the quality of their experience going to be? And what is the magnitude of improvement that you offer them? How many times better, faster, and or cheaper than the other options or what they have been having until now? And above all, we want to hear how severe is the pain or the challenge that you're solving. And we really do not need to see any fancy illustrations, multiple slides with graphics, but we need to hear a clear and concise answer to the question, why should we, as your future investors, care? What do you really do? And what is the multiple of improvement? Our second concern is your target market. Who is your customer, basically said. We want to know the number of potential customers that you have identified, whether the market is large now or will be large in the near future. We want to understand the growth rate of the market. The metrics we look for, although they may sound complicated, are actually simple and can be done by any and every one of you without using any specialized services. We want to see your SAM, SOM, and TAM, where TAM is simply your total possible market for your company, product, or service. And that is if everyone worldwide started using it. Your SAM is your next level. That is your serviceable available market, which means your TAM within the reach of your company, whether geographically or industry wise. And finally, we want to see your SOM, which is your serviceable obtainable market, which drills down even further to the portion of the market which you can realistically capture based on the things that are your available resources, your market competition, your presence in the industry. And your sum will be our first lead indicator or our benchmark for the short term goal you aim for. What we also want to see is what percentage of SAM is your sum. Basically, we want to know how much can you bite off from the market that exists, judging your own strength, your product, your competition, and the ability to execute of your company and team. We always like to hear a little bit more about your solution and service. Are you better? Are you faster? Are you cheaper? What is your customer's return of investment? How will your customers benefit once they pay for your product or your service? And please don't be afraid to include metrics. We want to know what is the magnitude of your improvement. What is your unique approach to the solution? Do you have a strong brand perspective? Of course, we also want to know more about your team and, in some cases, your board of advisors. Now, understand that we are far more interested in knowing what you guys have done, and that includes both your successes and your failures. And that is more important to us than the universities you've graduated from, although that also matters because successes are just as important as failures. All of that we see as a path walked by each of the founders, and we judge the experience and the skills that were acquired along the way. We actually want to understand what is your industry knowledge, what are your strong sides, what are the key relationships and networks that you have created in the process. And last but not least, we want to know what is your ability to sell and execute. A very important item on our list is traction. Have you built your MVP, your minimal viable product? What is it capable of? What is your ARR or your annual recurring revenue? What is your existing number of customers? What are your growth rate projections? What is your revenue pipeline? We also want to know your capital efficiency. How much capital has been spent to date? How much of it has been spent on building your solutions? And how much on the so-called SEE, spent on everything else? We also want to see your projections on ARR for the next 12 to 24 months. It's always great if you can show us your new results or what you project for the next 1 or 2 years from your existing customers, separately acquiring new ones and old ones, and show us what portion of the new capital you propose to raise will be spent on everything else versus on your product and solution. We love to be given a clear overview of your revenue model and channel strategies to sell the product or the service. Will those be direct sales? Will it be advertising, channel partners, etc.? We want to hear what is your average revenue per customer and what is its quality. Is it a one time? Is it a recurring revenue? What is its frequency? Please do give us your calculated LTV, which is your lifetime value per customer, which is the predicted net profit attributed to the entire future relationship with that customer. Show us ways in which you think you can increase that LTV. Give us metrics on sales cycles. Tell us if you're selling a high price or high volume product, etc. Your pitch, of course, should include financials. Include your past 1 or 2 years of revenue. Even if they're very small, do not be afraid to tell us the truth. We don't expect you to be mega companies with huge revenues and turnover. Include your projected or future 1 to 5 years revenues. Show us the gross versus your net revenue. Give us your burn rate per month or per year. Outline your path to profitability. And above all, do not try to impress us with numbers unless you can. Do not be afraid to give a fair and truthful financial representation of your company and your operations. Just my personal advice is avoid trying to dress the numbers in a way that you can grab our attention, because most of us are aware of the real state of the different markets. And even if we do not have the exact numbers or data, we will be able to get the correct information very fast. One of the most important parts of your pitch should be competition and competitive advantage. Actually, we like to talk about that as what is your unfair and sustainable competitive advantage. Be truthful about your competition, direct and indirect. Show us if and how your product and services are better at the moment, but also take time to see how future developments may affect your position in the sector. Is your product going to become obsolete? Have you looked for partners who can help you retain leadership, etc.? This is the part to touch in your pitch on your patents, intellectual property, etc. We want to see the key elements of risk now and in the future. Next, we would like to know or to hear about your exit opportunity. We want to know how you see the development of your company. We want to hear if you envision an IPO or if you want to be acquired. Why do you think the acquirer will want to buy you instead of just build a company like yours from scratch? What will be your gross margin, which measures basically your company's gross profit compared to its revenue as a percentage? Outline how you perceive our investment in your company in terms of returns. Do you see it as a 5 times multiple, 10 times multiple, or higher? Then, of course, you do have to include the investment terms that you propose. What amount are you raising? What is your pre-money and post-money valuation? Pre-money being the value of your company, not included any external funding of the latest round, and post-money including all outside funding and all outside and the latest capital contributions. Tell us who have been your previous and new investors. What has been the total capital previously raised? Are any of your old investors coming in this current round for a follow-up? That's always very, very nice to see as new VCs. What will be the equity? Is it going to be preferred or senior, or is it going to be pari passu? Tell us if you have any debt, do you have any safes, etc. And do you have lead investors in the current round? What capital has been committed to this moment and to this date? And finally, something that many founders forget when they pitch their companies to us, do not forget to include what you want from us as strategic value as your venture, as your VC partners. That is, how can we help? Do you want advice from us? Do you need industry introduction from us? Do you want us to help you with customers, with strategic investors, employees, etc.? Because although VCs differ in their size and in their investment strategies, one of the things most of us love to do is to be very much hands-on. We like to be committed to our companies, And we do everything we can, opening our own networks, reaching across industries, across companies that we have already invested to aid the progress of our current babies, as we call them. So that's in a nutshell